Hey guys, Michael here with the Bookmark. Welcome back. It's been a while. Today is going to be the first TV adaptation / movie review of a book that I'm going to do. So, with that being said, the TV show adaptation that I'm going to be talking about with you guys is Under the Banner of Heaven, based on the book that I read. So, a little background as to how I started reading the book to begin with. It's really all thanks to the numerous advertisements I had been seeing everywhere on most social media platforms, like YouTube, about the show. What initially caught my eye was Andrew Garfield. He was one of my favorite actors of all time, so seeing that he was doing this project and this TV adaptation kind of intrigued me even more. And so I initially watched the first episode, and after that I got curious, and that motivated me to wanting to read the actual book and novel written by Jon Krakauer. So hence I ended up reading the book and finishing the show, and throughout watching the show I was also reading the book at the same time. So in this video I'm going to be talking about similarities and differences that I noticed as I was going along week by week, watching the new episode and reading another portion of the book, and so on. So without further ado, let's get right to it. So one big similarity I noticed between the TV show and the book was this use of flashbacks in order to trace back the roots of the Mormon faith. So in the book, we're first introduced to the Lafferty crime scene with the murders of Erica and Brenda Lafferty, and basically the show, like the book, connects two stories. One story is based on the murder events that happened in 1984 with Brenda and Erica Lafferty, and the other story traces back in the 19th century, around the 1820s, that talks about the initial founding of the Mormon faith and church through Joseph Smith, the founder, you can say, of the Mormon faith. So that was one big similarity that they use. So throughout the show you see constant jumps from the 20th to 19th century. What's different though in the TV show compared to the book is the introduction to Andrew Garfield's character, who plays Detective Jeb Pyre. In the show, or from the TV show, this is one of my most favorite aspects of it, introducing that third storyline that kind of acts as a narrative and provides that direction from jumping from century to century. So like I said, Andrew Garfield plays this detective who has a Mormon background, born and raised a Mormon, into the Mormon faith, a member of the Latter-day Saints Church, and throughout the show, he's the main detective assigned to investigate the crime scene. Him and his partner, Bill Teba. Throughout the investigation, they interrogate and talk to Brenda's husband, Alan Lafferty, and through these discussions and interrogations, the origins of the Mormon faith is revealed to them, and the more that they have these discussions with Alan Lafferty, the more Detective Pyre begins to question where he stands in all of this whole situation that he finds himself in with investigating the events, and he begins to start asking questions and about his beliefs and where he stands in all of it, and you see his internal conflict and struggle, and I think that was a pretty unique element that they utilized in the TV adaptation of the show. One other thing that I admired in the show was the element of compassion that was displayed and introduced to the audience. Only because this element of compassion was displayed through restraint. And an example of this is seen when Detective Pyre is first called to the crime scene in the first episode. In this 3 to 4 minute scene, the camera mainly focuses on Andrew Garfield's face, his reaction as to what he's witnessing at the crime scene, and you see that his restraint comes in the form of tears, showing empathy, and his you see panic in his face because of everything he's witnessing, and that impacts the audience. And as I was watching that, I got teary-eyed myself, and I felt that elemental sense of compassion that the show was introducing to the audience. So I thought that was pretty cool. Very, very heartfelt too. It was pretty unique. And what's cool about that whole process was, throughout the show, it allows us to not so much as focus on, you know, the violence of that crime scene, you know, not so much as focus on that, but it allows us to have this positive image throughout the show of who Brenda Lafferty was in her life before such events even happened. And it allows us to see that she was a strong, devout woman who would do anything to help a sister Mormon with, in terms of reconnecting her faith with God or helping her with her struggling husband. You know, she was always willing to do what she could to help others. It gives us that positive image as to who she was. So I thought that was a cool process because it allows us to see the positive things of her life. And so that was really cool. Throughout the show, the narrative is mainly given to us through Brenda and her life, as events, you know, slowly unfold one by one. So yeah, Brenda definitely plays a large role in the TV adaptation, just as much as she does in the book. One other, I guess, difference that you'll notice in the show it's a little small like thing, but it's the names of the Lafferty brothers. So in the book, there are 6 Lafferty brothers. The 2 brothers that were responsible for the crime scene were Ron and Dan Lafferty, and they were the 2 eldest. Ron was the oldest, Dan was the second oldest. And then you have Alan Lafferty, which is Brenda's husband. He's the youngest of the bunch. It's 6 brothers. So you have Ron, Dan, Mark, Samuel, Jacob, and Alan. The difference with the Lafferty brothers' names is mainly focused on the 3 middle ones, I guess. So there's 3 Lafferty brothers' names that are different. So in this show, you have Samuel Lafferty. In the book, Samuel Lafferty is actually Watson Jr. Lafferty, which is the actual name of that Lafferty brother in particular. In the show, you also have Robin Lafferty, who his real name is Mark Lafferty. And in the show, you have Jacob Lafferty, who in the book, his name is actually Timothy Lafferty. So that's one little small difference that I picked up on. I was like, wait a second, this I don't remember seeing these 3 names, you know, in the book. You know, I remember specifically Mark Watson Jr. and Timothy Lafferty. So I'm assuming they made some changes due to, like, you know, some disclosure agreements when the whole show was being made and whatnot. So that was another small difference I noticed throughout the show. Overall, from watching the show, I personally enjoyed it. If I were to rate it from 1 to 10, I'd rate it a 7.5. It was really unique, especially with how they incorporated that third storyline, that narrative through Andrew Garfield's character. Like I said, all episodes, well, I didn't mention this, but now I'm going to mention it. So all episodes are up on Hulu. Back in April, it was on a weekly basis. There's 7 episodes in total. They're all accessible through Hulu if you have a membership with them. I definitely think you should check out the show, especially if you're wanting to read the book. You know, I guess what helped me get through the book and stay captivated too was reading the book while watching the show at the same time. Like I said before, I initially saw the first episode of the show, and then that kind of pushed me to wanting to read the book. And as I was doing both at the same time, I was able to stay captivated and spot these little like similarities and differences of the same story being told, really. So yeah, definitely think you should check out the show, especially if you're considering on reading the book. If you started the book and you feel like, oh no, it's not there, I definitely recommend watching the first maybe 2 episodes of the show, because I'm pretty sure after watching those 2 episodes, you'll feel even more engaged to wanting to like dive deeper into the actual novel written by Jon Krakauer, and see the 2 different perspectives that are displayed through one for the TV adaptation and one the book story. So yeah, so definitely check that out when you get the chance. Like I said, it's on Hulu. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a while. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July, because my last book review video was before 4th of July, like that Friday before. So hope you guys had a great weekend. Hope you guys stayed safe. Catch you guys next time. Keep reading. My current read, as you've seen on the Instagram post, is They Both Die at the End. I've made great progress with that so far. It's pretty engaging, and I can't wait to discuss that book with you guys. And yeah, catch you guys next time. Laters.